Yes, I am pretentious enough to start a video with a quote, but this is not a hate speech, it's just a rant from one dude. A small rant that I've held deep in my chest for quite a while now, summarized into 3 major issues I have with the state of open world games. And you're welcome to counter-argue and roast me in the comments. And to start off strong, I need to define why open world games exist when they're implemented in a single-player experience exclusively. Because this doesn't apply to survival games or most co-op games. Because the principle of doing it in a single-player experience is, in many cases, merely a matter of stretching. When you build a game, you have a main narrative and a world. Whether you want that world to be explorable and interactive or not is up to you as a dev. And I truly believe that in many cases, it's just padding to extend gameplay time. When the industry sets game prices as high as $70, they need to justify it. So they stuff tons of aimless content across the map, often including bad side missions as well. Of course, not every game does this. I'm not delusional. There are stories with side quests so good they're remembered as core parts of the game itself, like Shepard's loyalty or background missions in Mass Effect, Yakuza's over-the-top side content, and The Witcher 3 magnum opus of side quests overall. But in many cases, the world doesn't give you anything meaningful. And when the padding boils down to go here, unlock that, clearing outposts, hunting stuff, etc., it often clashes with my second issue, a story's sense of urgency. Urgency is tricky. A lot of people don't care about it. For some, video games are video games. They don't need to be taken that seriously, especially when it comes to in-game time not lining up with real-life urgency. And fair enough. That may sound like nitpicking, but as someone who values storytelling in games, it bothers me when a plot that's supposed to feel urgent gets completely undermined by the player's freedom to ignore it. So, take it 3 examples. One where urgency doesn't matter, one that's debatable, and one where it flat out breaks the story. To start off, Grand Theft Auto. Urgency doesn't matter there. The whole point of GTA is to screw around. No matter what's happening in the story, it never feels like you need to act immediately. GTA thrives because it parodies everything and encourages chaos. The story and urgency are irrelevant by design, especially and mainly in GTA 5, which is a different story from all of the previous ones. But as for Far Cry 3, this one's complicated. Jason's goal is to save his friends and escape, but as the plot evolves, Jason changes. He breaks down, embraces violence, and becomes the warrior the island wants him to be. On one hand, side activities disrupt the urgency of saving his friends. On the other, they reinforce Jason's descent into a darker character. So the clash kind of works. But in The Witcher 3, here's where it breaks. In no world would Geralt put anything above finding Ciri. The Wild Hunt has been after her since the books. From the very start of the game, her absence is urgent and dangerous. Geralt should be going through hell and back to find her as fast as possible. From a strict narrative lore perspective, Geralt would not waste time on Gwent, monster contracts, or random villagers' problems. However, from a game design and roleplay perspective, slowing down is part of what makes The Witcher 3 so special. As a video game, it's absolutely brilliant. One of my favorites of all time, with one of the best open worlds ever. But narratively, it kind of doesn't hold up. The urgency gets sacrificed for freedom, and while the side content is great, it's a trade-off. As I said, it's pure nitpicking. For many, this doesn't matter at all. You could apply the same logic to Zelda, In Breath of the Wild, your goal is to destroy Ganon. In Tears of the Kingdom, it's to find Zelda. Both are urgent, world-changing missions. But you can spend hundreds of hours cooking, building, and exploring instead. And most of these games are so good, they get a pass. But not all of them. Which leads to my third issue: world design that feels lifeless. Since I mentioned Zelda, I'll throw Mario into the mix too. Mario Kart World is stunning. Beautiful art direction, gorgeous visuals, polished presentation, but the world itself, kind of empty. It's eye candy with no substance. The game isn't bad by all means. From the little I played, parts of it were really fun, but it's not worth $80. This lifelessness extends beyond Mario, of course. So many AAA games suffer from it. NPCs exist just to fill the screen, scripted interactions replace real interactivity, and side mechanics feeling hollow. Ubisoft's formula is the perfect example. It's kill X enemies, find X collectibles, or hunt down random targets. Rinse and repeat. This ties back to everything I've said so far. Padding, bloated maps, graphics worship, urgency that gets ignored, and the same recycled activities over and over again from the main campaign. That doesn't mean open world games can't work. You have three main type of world designs: linear, open linear, and open world. In my opinion, open linear works best. I brought up Yakuza 0 earlier, and this is why. The map is very small compared to most, if not pretty much all games. You can literally travel both maps in 15 minutes roughly, combined of course. Yet, it feels alive, packed with detail, bursting with personality. Honestly, Yakuza feels more alive than Horizon does, even though their intentions are very different. Now, I don't want to piss off, all 5 fans of Horizon, but both of its games fit all I said. They're huge, tons of content, beautiful scenery, but a bit bland overall. It has a really unique aesthetic, but zero relevancy and following. I would argue that if the direction of the game was more centered, like Yakuza, it would have been more loved than it is. So all of this kind of circles back to the big question: do we really need open world games? And the answer is in the thumbnail. Yeah, we do. But maybe the problem I have personally isn't open world themselves. It's the obsession with making them massive. The bigger you make something, the more problems it has. And since I'm a miserable bastard, I'll keep complaining no matter what. But when actual care is put in games, they shine like crazy. But the saturation of bland exploration is massive nowadays. I am not the target demographic for open world games, I get it. I rarely enjoy them, but the few times they were done well, they resonated with me. Red Dead 1 and 2 still holds a very special place in my heart with its side content, which I still remember very clearly. So, anyways, I yapped enough already. Do you think the industry should scale back? Or do you love huge maps? Let me know in the comments. And be sure to leave a like and subscribe. God, I will never do that again.